All righty, guys. It is Friday evening. I got to call it kind of Friday lights, but the lights are still on. So, my name is Rick Ginn, and we are here live on Flip with Rick. And today's really cool. We're talking all about flipping vacant lands. And I'm really familiar with this. And honestly, I'm going to break it down. It's actually really simple. So, if you've never done it before and you're actually doing wholesaling now, this is going to be a really easy fit into your wholesaling business. And honestly, if you guys aren't doing land, you should seriously consider adding it to your wholesaling repertoire. It works really well. And I'm just going to break the whole thing down today. So guys, this is how this works out. So as I said, my name is Rick. I'm the Rick and Flip with Rick. You guys know my son, Zach. We collaborate on this channel on our wholesaling operations. We run a 7-figure wholesaling operation. And we like to share with you our 25 years experience on how to get started in wholesaling without spending one dime to a coach or a mentor for such a basic skill like wholesaling. If that rings true to you and if that's something that you want to connect with us on, you are in the right place. So if you're brand new to our channel, the first thing I always going to advise you to do is go over to freewholesaling.com. It's is the most popular wholesaling course. It's free and it's the most thorough, the most in-depth course you're going to find on the market today. And I'm trying to remove all the obstacles. The biggest obstacle you have when you get started in wholesaling is usually money. So me and Zach decided to remove that for you. And I want to share that with you. So what I want you to do is use the comments to introduce yourselves. Let us know what market you're in. It's a great way to work with people. If you've been looking for people that are just getting started wholesaling, or maybe there's like some senior people on here, this is a great place to collaborate. Also, you can ask your questions in the comments. I like to go through them, and I try to answer as many as I humanly possibly can, but there are limits. But if you put it in there, I promise I'll do my best to answer. And if you want to go on the lives, I see you guys stacking up right now. After my teaching portion, I go in and we work on one-on-ones. And remember, we're here to find solutions, to solve problems, and to keep you on track for wholesaling. So we can talk about vacant land flipping. We can talk about anything in wholesaling. Heck, you can ask me kind of anything. So I'm here all alone on Friday night. I enjoy this. So I think it's important me and Zach kind of differentiate and kind of show you two different sides of it. So I've been doing this a long time. Zach's crazy. He's 5 years, getting ready to go 6 years in it. Guys, it goes by really, really fast. So if you're interested in wholesaling and you go, man, what the heck are these guys talking about? We're going to be on. I'm going to be on here for 2 hours. So first thing, make sure you put your questions and your comments in there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to Flip with Rick. You can also check me out on YouTube at Rick Ginn, and check out my son's channel at Zach Ginn. And my God, for God's sakes, give me just a thumbs up. Say, hey, listen, I love the content. Keep providing it. Remember, we provide you. We are the only people that provide 100% free value, because we actually make money flipping properties. I don't make money flipping students. I believe wholesaling is a basic skill that everyone should have the right to understand how to know. And it shouldn't cost you $5,000 or $10,000 to learn this. Guys, there's very few educators out in the wholesaling field that has more experience than me. I'm just tired of people teaching this business like we're back in 2003, 2004. You guys deserve better. I'll show you how to do it, show you the implementation. It's up to you, though. You're going to have to put the work in. So if you guys are down with that, let's get it started. Let's get into wholesaling. You guys know where I'm going with this. Let's get the energy up. You got to have fun while you're wholesaling, because I'm telling you, man, life's tough enough as it is. I've always had a great time wholesaling. Not every minute's perfect, but I'm going to make this 2 hours the most fun you can ever have wholesaling, and you guys should do the exact same.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up.
okay, guys, that's what you need to do. So that's, if you just tuned in, you can see this wacky guy kind of drinking some funky drink with a gold microphone. We do it kind of to shock you. Go, hey, listen. So many people in these YouTube videos, it's just so boring. It's so monotonous. And dude, I've already admitted to you all, I got ADHD. Like I like action. I like fun. I like to tell jokes, and I like to just throw random thoughts out there. But that's my superpower in wholesaling, and I've learned to embrace it. Teachers taught me how to fight it for years, and I'm here to tell you, my parents weren't crazy. I was a crazy child, and wholesaling is the perfect fit. So if you identify with my personality type, like if you're midstream in a conversation and you start another conversation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments. That's why I love wholesaling, because it's very fast action. It's fun. It's different. It's exciting. You never know what each day brings. And then it will lead you to financial freedom. And what's more important to that, and nobody ever talks about in this business, is really freedom of your time. The greatest gift God gave you was time on this earth. And the more you can be present in your time, the better you're going to be as a father, a mother, a husband, a wife, a sibling, an uncle, a nephew. It goes on and on forever. And I'm hoping wholesaling resonates with you. If it does, you're in the right place. We're going to jump into it and have fun. So today we're all talking about flipping land. And you're like, man, how in the heck do you flip land? Here's the really cool part. It's not a whole lot different than what you guys are already doing. So I want you to understand there is no difference to it. I want you to embrace it, have fun with it. And when you're dealing with land, you're just dealing with land without the physical house on it. That's it. So if you can mentally paint that picture, land's going to go much faster than you're going to do on a regular house 8 out of 10 times, because it's much, much faster. There's really no inspections. Why are you going to inspect land? Absolutely crazy the things you can do with it. So guys, let's get into it. If you guys want to do a one-on-one, you got the links there. I see everybody in line there. And then if you have questions, put it in the comments and we'll go from there. So let's jump right into it. I'll take about probably 20, 30 minutes to do this part, and that'll leave us a solid hour, 20 minutes to answer your questions. So let's do this thing. So wholesaling vacant lots. Now, the most important thing you got to ask yourself, well, Rick, why would I want to do that? I actually said, I had this question come up multiple times as I was early in my career in wholesaling. And I just never I didn't wrap wholesaling with land. It wasn't a real common thing when I was doing it. And honestly, I left a lot of deals on my plate because I go, it's just land. How much money can I make doing it? Boy, was I wrong on that one. And I got to go back and as you get older, guys, and you get more wisdom, you kind of learn, go, I could have made a ton of money in land. And keep in mind, I was in the South Florida market, particularly over at what we call Port St. Lucie. Dude, there was probably 30 to 40% of like basic infill lots everywhere. And I didn't market to any of them. So I still did a bunch of them, but I did them mostly by accident until one day I decided to do them on purpose. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let's talk about the advantages of wholesaling land. Let me fix something on here. Whatever, it'll work. What are the advantages of wholesaling land? Guys, it's the exact same thing of doing a property with a house on it. It just doesn't have the house on it. So I'm going to give you the obvious ones. Number one, they all work with cash. So you rarely ever work with any type of mortgage unless you have like a commercial type of land. Number two, I already said there's no house on it. So the only inspection is on the land itself. Okay. That's it. So when you get these properties under contract, go, Rick, how do I put a piece of land under contract? It's almost identical to doing a house. It's just you don't have that lengthy house inspection part of it. Okay. Land is land. God only made so much of it, and there's only so much you can do to it. So it comes down to what type of land is it? So I'm going to teach you some basic terminology of how land is described. Honestly, this took me years to grasp this concept. Remember, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm going to run harder and faster than anyone else. Number one, raw land. Okay. When somebody talks about raw land, it means it's never been developed. It usually has mature landscaping on it, trees, and there's they haven't built the pad up on it, meaning they put a certain amount of dirt to make sure it doesn't flood, meet sites of elevation. There's usually zero utilities. And guys, I'm here to tell you, raw land is expensive to get it build ready. Okay, how much? Just depends on the size. It can be $10,000 to $50,000. So utilities are usually the biggest holdup on raw land. So when people buy raw land, they know it's a long process before they build on it. So if you're in the art of trying to wholesale raw land, you've got to find someone that knows they're buying it and knows they're in it for a long haul. What's the long haul? Anywhere from a year to 5 to 10 years, because it takes a lot. You got to get the city's cooperation to bring in sewer lines. You got to have the power company bring in some sort of electrical grid in there. It's crazy what needs to go on. And remember, they usually service the entire block. Okay. So keep in mind with that raw land, understand the definitions, because realtors will use this back and forth on you. And when you guys are looking for these types of lots, you got to understand the difference. The other type of one is basically what we call infill lots. And an infill lot is basically a lot that's already been cleared. It can have a dirt pad on it, but it already has utilities, and you'll see other houses peppered around into it. Those are my favorite because they're locked and ready to go. And a developer or some sort of investor or even an end buyer can buy that and have a house reasonably built anywhere from 7 to 12 months out. Still seems like a long time, guys, doesn't it? It's crazy. Okay. So you've got to understand the terminology of how you describe a lot, because if you don't understand it, it gets really, really confusing. Okay. Let me see here. So those are predominantly the two types of land. Now, I didn't get into agriculture or anything like that because you can still do that. It's just a whole different type of animal. Okay. I'm moving through this so I can spend as much time talking to you guys. So if you think I'm talking fast, raise your hand and I'll slow down. Let me see here. Omar says, will vacant land disappear at some point? I guess if Elon Musk has his way, we'll be flipping land on Mars. So I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime, but obviously it gets less and less as time goes. But there's a lot of places like Central Florida. I mean, dude, it's raw land as far as you can see. So as populations continue to grow, they're going to start going in the areas where they're undeveloped. And that's why you've seen a big push in like Arizona, Nevada, stuff like that. So your job's to try to find the trends and keep them going. So, okay, let me get back to the teaching moment here. So the next process we have to do is identify demand and pricing. Okay. So you're basically going to do a reverse engineering on this. The easiest way to identify demand and pricing is go out and find buyers and see what they're willing to pay. You can list anything you want on the market as humanly possible. Remember, that's just an offer price. What people are going to pay for stuff a lot of times is a different story. So the best thing to do is go out and find developers, find people interested in looking for raw land infill lots, and see what they're going to pay. The problem is, if you just decide to use Zillow and Redfin, those are just offer prices. Land can be wildly different from the offer price to the close price. So a couple techniques, okay, is you can easily go over to listrei.com and you can do a search there on the filter criteria, or you can go over to Zach Data. That's a great place to start to find your base price for what people are paying. But remember, in the end, when you reach out to buyers, like you connect on the phone, SMS, whatever you want to do, they'll tell you what you pay and you're going to have to adjust accordingly. So while we're going to verify some of this pricing of closed sales, and by the way, guys, you can use Zach Data or listrei.com. They're wonderful because they're built into you and you don't have to struggle finding it. You can get a lot of this information from your county data records too, if you know how to sort through it and do it, because land is land and you just got to find out how they tag it in the system. But if you're going to use the filters with List.REI and Zach Data, the first thing you want to do is look for vacant land, pick the zip codes, okay? Figure out the lot size. So a lot of them will go from 1/8 of an acre to 1/4 acre, 1/2 an acre to a full acre, to like 5 to 10 acre lots. Depending on what type of market you're in, the most valuable ones are usually 1/4 acre to like a 1/2 acre in most residential places. And those are the ones that I primarily like to focus on, but I'm a Florida guy. So just adjust it to your demand on that. So once you get that and you find these types of people that are looking for these properties, is now keep in mind, you're going to do this both on the buyers and seller side. So I'm kind of going through this quickly so I can spend time with you guys answering your questions. It is Friday night, you know? So once you do that, the one catch you have to do is simply, you're going to have to skip trace your list. Okay. You can do that at zachdata.com or whatever service that you prefer. Once you get it skip trace, that gives you your connection to reach out. You can either cold call them, you can SMS them. A lot of people like to do the SMS because land, the one thing I will warn you on land, this is a good kind of warning, is it is much more, how should I say it, less emotional. They don't live there. There's no real connection with them. It's just a piece of property they bought and it either worked out for them or it didn't work out for them. And that's the deal. Let me clear this up here. Sorry, guys. And once we have that, okay. Hold on. I got to do something here. Let's see. I got to fix something. It's bothering me. Hold on. Sure. Okay. Once we find that, we skip trace it. Now you are going to make a decision how you're going to attack your market. Okay. You have to pick out your marketing medium. What do I mean by that? It's real simple. You are going to find, you either going to use, most people are going to do cold calling, SMS text blasting, or good old fashioned direct mail. Okay. So if you guys want to do direct mail or anything like that, just make sure you go over to mailingmastery.com and we'll show you how to walk through that whole thing. But you don't have to do direct mail. I'll just throw it out there because some of you guys, you know, it's a little bit easier. You got a little bit of money. That's fine with it. But most of you are going to wind up doing cold calling. Okay. SMS works really effective with landowners because, as I said, it is much, much less emotional. And that's how it works. Why won't this work? Okay. It's less emotional. The problem with a house is when the seller treats the house like a home, which a lot of people do, it gets really emotional when they sell it. And you guys know some of the problems with that. So this is one of the huge advantages of wholesaling vacant land. And that's why I love doing it. So, so the real question comes down to is, Rick, how do I put this strategy together? And it's really simple. Once you get a basis for what lots are trading for. So if you're looking at quarter acre, make sure you compare quarter acre sales. Okay. And you're going to see a trend. You guys are probably asking, hey, Rick, are prices dropping on vacant land? Well, they're probably not going up in some areas. They might be, but remember, land is a supply and demand issue. So as less land becomes available, unless they release other parts of lands, the price can go up. Prices can drop down too when there's a lot of competition on it. So once you establish a base price, you're going to use your marketing medium to reach out, cold calling, whatever it is. And you're just going to reach out to the owner, find out the owner if they have interest in selling their land. It's usually very unemotional. It is a numbers game. And then if you know a lot's trading for 40K, you're going to go in and make a low offer. Why? Because the lower you get under contract, the more like you can make and the more options you have to sell it. Okay. They are not going to kick you out because you're doing this over the phone, because you should never, ever meet a vacant landowner at the property. It makes no sense. So for those of you that want to do this virtually, this is absolutely perfect. It's like a no-brainer. You do this really anywhere you want in the US, practically in the world, but you got to like follow other laws outside the United States. So once you have it, if the lot's worth 40, I immediately going to make an offer probably around 20 and just see what they spit out. Remember, you can always go up. You can't go down. Okay. They don't really get insulted. They just say no, or they kind of move on. And then that's when you do the volley method. They say, listen, I know if you didn't know, but what price would it be for you to let this go? Don't ever use the word price. Don't use the word offer, and just fish with them. Have fun with it. Guys, this is actually so much easier than doing houses. Okay. I resisted this for years and I deeply regretted it. The only thing I regretted more than this was waiting to do probates. Okay. So take this as my second calling to probates. You should be doing this method because you got to understand, when somebody owns a vacant lot, they're not making any money. There's very little cash flow unless it's turned into a parking lot. And those aren't the typical plots that we're buying for this. So once you have that price, is even if you get, say they go, okay, I'll take it for 30 grand or 35, and you've already established the buyer at 40. Here's the key to it. Do not double close on these properties. Don't let anybody talk you into it. It's physically a waste of money. You have to sell vacant land via assignment of contract so you can squeeze out some of the thinner margins. I've bought lots as little as $1,000 and sold them for $2,000. The only way you can do that is via assignment of contract. If you double close, you would actually lose money. So if your margin is under 10 grand, it's critical you do an assignment of contract. But honestly, even if your margin's 50 grand, do an assignment of contract. This is normal when it comes to vacant lots. This is how developers do it. This is how investors do it. And this is how all wholesalers should do it. Why give your money to a title company twice on a piece of land that's never ever been lived on? It's actually a waste of money, in my opinion. So if you guys are working with a buyer, which we're talking about right now, I'm moving through this as quickly as I can. Okay. You're either going to be working with a developer or an individual investor, which is my preference. I'm going to tell you, if you work with the big developers like the Pulte's, the GL Homes, stuff like that, you know, the big names in your area, it's like an entire process. You have to go through all these departments. You got to sign all these paperwork, and the big developers will push you to do a double closing. And I'm telling you, don't do it. It's just a waste of money. It just makes them feel better, and they have policies. Okay. They should take land whenever it's available. Now, when land starts to get scarce or they can't get them, they waive their double close policy and they will do an assignment, but you got to push it on them. So in these times where there's more and more resources available for them, I'm going to tell you is you can get away from these big developers. And by the way, it's so easy to find these developers. If you want, you can just go to Zillow, Redfin, any of these Trulia, and you do your filter search, and you're going to look and basically look for anything built from like 2021 and up in that area, and you'll see the builder, and they usually have their own sales team, and you can figure out exactly what they're buying the lots for. You can reverse engineer through the property records if you have to. You can go through listrei.com, whatever it is, and you can see exactly what they pay with these lots. But the values move up and down pretty quick with these lots. And we are going in a trend where builders are cutting back and scaling back a little bit more. So I want you to focus on individual investors, people that want to buy their dream home, or they're tired of waiting for a builder to build something. Actually, builders tell them, if you can find the lot, we'll build it to them. They almost prefer to do it that way these days. And if you get an individual investor or like an end buyer, A, they'll pay you more, and B, they'll never, ever question an assignment of contract. They don't care. So if you have to explain it to someone's new to it, make sure you use your title company. That is the best way. If you use a third-party authority and they understand that is the method of their operation, then they won't question like, hey, what are you doing? Because listen, let's face it. When you use an end buyer and you explain an assignment of contract, and say you're sitting in a coffee shop or your parking lot, or even if you have an office, it sounds like weird because they've never heard it before. So when a licensed title company that has an office and been in business for a long time explains it, they don't question it. It's the same concept. If a lawyer explains you a process, you just agree with it. Same thing with a realtor. Like when they tell people, they take that for their word. And I'm telling you, use your title company. It helps out tremendously when it comes down to this stuff. And as I said on this, you all ask me, hey, Rick, how do I value the land? I'm here to tell you that the land value will be determined by your cash buyers. And you can look at listing prices and close prices, but putting your ears to the table, to the street, finding out what cash buyers are paying recently, you're going to have to make adjustments, especially in a declining market. So we have a market here in Florida that there's just lots everywhere. There, to this day, you ready for this? I can still buy a lot for $1,000 in Florida. Nuts. But here's the problem, okay? I owned a bunch of these. They've been the same price for 25 years. So land, you want the wholesale land. You do not want to speculate on land, Okay. You will get killed if you speculate on land. If you think you can predict the future, you can't. You will never be right all the time. You will eventually get caught, and it's a real problem. So make sure you are wholesaling. The other advantage I forgot to tell you about wholesaling land, which is phenomenal, especially on vacant lots, is your contracts are usually pretty open-ended. Most of my contracts, the minimum I would contract a vacant land is 30 days, and every contract I write is 90 to 180 days. Dude, if I can't find a buyer in 90 days, I got no business buying that property. And you should heed the warning from the market. If you can't find a buyer for that, and say you bought it for $1,000 and you got really attracted by price, understanding you are switching to speculator mode and you've got to get out of it. Okay. So unless you're buying that land for your family to save it for like a rainy day somewhere down the road, do not buy based on speculation. It's so easy to get sucked into this world. And I'm telling you, you want to avoid it. Just because the lot's cheap doesn't mean it's good. Okay. Just because a lot is cheap does not mean it's good. And you need to understand that it is absolutely critical. So with that being said, I know I ran through it fast, so we're going to use the rest of the show to fill in questions, to answer direct questions, anything you guys got going on. And let me jump into the comments, and then I am going to go left to right here and get through it because we are full. So I appreciate it. Kip, he says, hit that like button. Come on, guys. I'm working for, listen, by the way, YouTube puts this thing on you to sponsor you guys. I could care less if you guys do it or not, but we just go to covering costs to running our operations. So I do appreciate it. But it's not a requirement, but I do appreciate it. So let me jump up here and start answering some questions. And then I'm going to jump in the first live because I have to do both sides. What's up, Corey? Corey just posted a big deal. I love this stuff, man. Holy moly, man. You guys are busy today. Dang. Let's see here. Let me see. Out of the wood. So Will says, out of the woodwork in the last 90 days or so, everybody's flipping land. Is it? It's not BS, dude. It's been going on forever, Will. And honestly, it's getting more and more mainstream. So listen, wholesaling vacant lots is the same thing as wholesaling regular property. So awesome. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Let's see here. Okay. It finally cooled off a little bit here in Florida, but we had a hurricane roll through, so nothing we can really celebrate. So I feel bad for everybody in the southwest part of Florida. They haven't been hitting like a long time with it, but it's a bad deal. So, but I got my own issues from like hurricane stuff. But I'm used to dodging hurricanes. It's one of the it's one of the pitfalls of living in Florida. But I've been here my whole life, so I appreciate it. So I don't appreciate hurricanes, but honestly, they come with the lay of the land. So, but it's a trade-off for the snow. But the mosquitoes. Nobody talks about the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums and all that other fun stuff here. So, awesome. Okay, so you guys fill in your questions here. Ravon, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. You gonna keep me entertained here? I'm kind of like I feel antsy today, man. Like I'm out chasing deals. I don't know what's going on in you guys' market, man, but it's getting a little ludicrous out there between the Fed and the mortgage interest rates. The listings are piling up on MLS.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, we are already in a buyer's market. If you're waiting for like the NAR Realtors Association to tell you that,
Yeah.
you missed it, man, because they're 4 months behind. And I'm telling you, every day we break a record in Florida on price reductions, and it's just like, but we almost doubled in price here in the state of Florida. So like, are you really, how much of an adjustment is 10 or 15% when you went up 80 to 90%, right?
Yeah.
So, but as you guys come on, if you want to give us feedback on what's going on in your market, some of your concerns in the market, we can talk about that today too. But what can I help you out with?
All right. So I found this property on Fizbo on Zillow, right? And the thing is, I contact the seller or the owner of the house. He said that talk to the attorney and all. So I called the attorney. They said send the contract to them. So my question is, like, I already sent them through email my contract. So my question is, like, what should I say to the attorney and all? Because I'm new to this, and like,
Okay.
I don't know to be honest and tell the truth.
So who pushed for the attorney? The seller?
Yeah, the seller is like, yeah, go through my attorney and all. So I send him my contract to the attorney and all. So through email.
So I'm going to give you a couple ideas here, and
Yeah.
if it doesn't help you on this one, it'll help you on the next one. Okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, attorneys they're always going to be there in real estate. So if you look at it in your wholesaling business,
Yeah.
I was taught, and I had some really bad teachers. So honestly, bad teachers can teach you
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
They can teach you what not to do. They told me I'm not doing a deal if your attorney has to review it. Do you know how shady and like suspect that sounds when you say that to a seller? It's like, it's
Yeah.
really bad. So
Yeah.
instead of fighting it, just embrace it.
Yeah.
But here's what you want to do with the seller. I am happy to send it over your attorney review. And I actually go, I think it's a smart decision.
Okay.
Okay. Even though it's useless. Okay. People use it as attorneys. Sometimes they use it as an excuse or a defense.
Yeah.
And unless my attorney approves it, I'm not going to do it. So I said, listen, I get it. You want to make sure the language is in there right. Attorneys are difficult on wholesalers. I'm not going to lie to you. Like it makes it like 50-50 if you're going to get it. So the first thing you want to do with your seller is you want to reconfirm your agreement with them. Okay.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, if we close by this date and this is the price and this is the deposit, and is there anything else I'm missing? And we'll have the house vacant and ready to go. Say, and then just go like this, Mr. Seller, do we agree to these terms? Are you okay with these? Absolutely. Okay. So what is it you want your attorney to review? Just so I'm on the same page with you, and ask them directly. 9 times out of 10, they go, listen, we just want to make sure it's kosher, make sure the language, I'm not getting screwed here. Okay, but you agree on price, correct? Yeah, and you agree on deposit, correct? So if you anchor the numbers so they won't move,
Yeah.
then you just got to get through the legal jargon with the attorney. The minute you let the attorney go, we should get an appraisal and we should get a BPO and protect you, you're in big trouble. And that's what a lot of them do. So you want to anchor down with your seller the terms of your deal.
Yeah.
And let them know I'm happy to give the attorney the paperwork. And so when the attorney comes back and goes, well, I recommend doing an appraisal and all this other stuff. Number one, somebody's got to pay for it.
Okay.
So at a typical appraisal is around $400 or $500 now. A BPO is like $200. That's just a broker's price opinion. Okay. Remember, this isn't what anything's going to sell for. It's just someone's random opinion. Okay. They're supposed to be educated about it. So I want to go in and anchor the price so they can't come back and renegotiate it through the attorney. Okay. One of the other tricks I do is if I anchor on that, I will send the attorney kind of a blank copy of my contract.
Yeah, that's what I did. I emailed them a blank.
Yeah, because they can't pick it like it's like you get a language. I've already agreed with her on the terms. I'm not asking you to negotiate the terms.
Yeah.
And that's where attorneys and I strongly disagree. They're terrible negotiators when it comes to real estate. They're very good in the courtroom on legal matters. They're horrendous negotiators when it comes to properties. It's not their specialty. They argue in court. What does an attorney argue in court?
Don't they argue stuff about, I mean, they don't argue about real estate. That's what I know.
They argue the law.
Oh, yeah.
They're an expert on the law.
But they're not expert on properties.
Somehow, some attorneys think they're an expert on pricing real estate, which makes them a real estate agent or even an investor. By the way, I've missed out on deals just like this, that they sent it to the attorney, and then I found out 3 to 4 months later, the attorney bought it. Okay? I'm pretty aggressive on stuff like that because if the attorney wants to lose their license over that, because that is not a fiduciary responsibility to their client when they do that. That is just a complete greed grab. So I anchor the price and the terms to the contract, and I try to send a blank. Now, keep in mind, some of the attorneys goes, it's blank. I'm like, yeah, but like they just want to check out the language on it, make sure it's good. Here's what you don't want to send the attorney is if you send them like the condensed 2-page version or even the 1-page version of a wholesale contract, they don't like it because it's not enough for them to read, and they can't they're just going to call BS on your contract. So typically I work on attorney. I use like a long form contract that's approved by your state because
Oh, okay. Because I
here's
use
the
the
reason.
contract.
Because
I use
that's
the
what attorneys
contract.
are used to looking at. And when they look at like a 12 or 15-page contract,
Yeah.
that's what they like to do. Here's the reality. That 15-page contract will do the exact same as the contract that I provide for you at Flip with Rick.
Yeah.
So there's no difference. The difference is in like the cover. Okay.
Okay.
A Volvo and a Tesla will get you to the same spot. One's going to ride a little bit nicer
Yeah.
and one's going to look a little sharper. And that's the difference when you do the two. So you've
Okay.
got to find out what type of attorney it is. If it's like a stone cold real estate attorney,
Yeah.
you can't send them that 2-page contract because they just go nuts on it.
Okay.
Because they're going to go, oh, you got a wholesaler. You got a wholesaler. You shouldn't do that. So that's how you kind of deal with it. You guys that say, oh, I'm going to run from an attorney, you're missing out on so many deals when you do that. And 9 times out of 10, the attorney guess sometimes, by the way, they're actually bluffing you. Okay. So here's how you call the bluff. Go, listen, can I get your attorney's information? I'll just send it to him directly. That will snuff out that lie instantly because if they don't know the attorney's name, the attorney's email, or their office address or anything like that, they don't have an attorney and they're not going to be able to recover and cover that up for you. So if you catch them in that lie, there's something bothering them about you and your deal, and you're going to have to go back in and readdress it. Okay. Now, if they go, yeah, my attorney's John Brown. He's at 123 USA Straight. He's at John Brown, we will sue you.com. Like, okay, I got it. The attorney thinks for real. Make sure I send the right contract. Also, before you write the contract, you want to talk to your motivated seller to find out if there's an attorney involved so you know which contract to send.
Okay. The thing is, I told them that once the attorney reviews the contract, I'll fill in the contract and we'll go over the price.
Okay.
As of now, but like I said before, I just sent him an email, the blank contract from Flip with Rick, the 2-page one, not the whole one. I just sent him that. I'm waiting for a response. If he doesn't reply, then I'll call him on Monday.
Okay. So keep in mind, he might ask you to change the contract and just say, listen, what do you prefer? You want to use state approved contract? I'm fine with it. Either way, we're going to accomplish this. And here's the downside with attorneys.
Yeah.
On average, they take 7 to 10 days to review anything.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That's the part that just now, sometimes good news, bad news is the seller gets antsy and they're like, I'm not waiting anymore. Let me just sign it. And I'm pretty reasonable. Unless the attorney points out something so malicious, I'll let them out of the contract. But it's got to be legit. And most of the attorneys, I laugh. They go, okay, you need to change for the to the, and you need to change and or to or. It's just stupid stuff. And sometimes they go and change the deposit from 500 to 5,000. Now I've already agreed with the deposit with the seller. Like you got to understand, an attorney's job's not to they negotiate divorces, legal settlements, disputes. This isn't a dispute, right?
Yeah.
So trying to keep an attorney in their lane, unfortunately, some of them are real nasty, and either 3 things are going to happen. Either they're not going to return your call at all and they ignore it, and your client will get frustrated and eventually sign a deal with you, or they'll send back and pick your contract apart. Or they say, yeah, just change these 1 or 2 things and we're good to go. So it's kind of in that ballpark. It's like 50-50, but if you try to avoid the attorney, you'll never get a deal with it. And I like the strategy you're doing. I would just switch up the contract in the future when you do that.
How do I get a state contract? Because I'm doing this virtually. So how would I do that?
Okay. So which state is this property in?
It's in Missouri.
Okay. So let me see here. If you can bear with me, guys. If I knock you off screen, I apologize. So
yeah, no problem.
Oops.
And also, quick question. So if they ask you to do some extra stuff, remember what you were saying before, pay extra $200 or $600? What's it called? When they ask you to do some extra stuff, you had to pay extra for that. I don't know what's it called. You said it before in the video.
Say that again. I missed that.
I'd say, do you remember when I was talking live to you right now? Like, I think 10 minutes prior, you said something how attorneys might make you do some extra stuff for you to pay for it. I don't know what's it called. But it's like $500, $600 you're talking about like 5 minutes ago.
The just the deposit.
Okay, okay,
Attorneys like this is the downside of attorneys. They like big fat deposits.
okay.
And
And I
so
could
like
always.
a lot of times I mean, let me tell you what, so back in the day when I
Yeah.
didn't have any money, I'd put down a $10 deposit.
Oh, okay, okay.
And the attorney, I mean, you want to watch an attorney come unraveled?
Oh,
$10. Are you
no, no, I mean, oh
crazy?
yeah, I was talking about the appraisal. Yeah, sorry. So for the
Yeah.
appraisal,
So
if they ask for one, should I cancel the contract?
yeah, but your seller has to pay for it. The seller doesn't want to pay for that. And then
For
I
the
go back,
appraisal?
you just go back to the seller and go, listen, remember the reason you contacted me. You wanted a simple sale without inspection, all that other stuff. And appraisal is a full blown inspection.
Okay,
So, let me know what you want. I always go back to the root of what they want to accomplish. And that's what you got to kind of get to them.
okay,
Because an appraisal is it's intrusive. They walk through the house, they take a ton of pictures. You wind up in realtor world when you do that. And then
okay,
who's going to pay for it? You're not going to pay for it. I don't need their opinion on it. It's just an opinion at the end of the day. So
okay.
appraisals are typically for banks. Okay.
Oh,
Is
okay,
a
okay.
bank issuing a mortgage on this property? No. So
Oh,
what's the purpose of the appraisal? You want to know the reality of it? It's a
yeah.
roadblock to get you out of the contract. And also, the truth is the attorney usually gets a kickback and they'll charge $600 for the appraisal and he'll get $250 of it.
Okay,
That
okay. I see.
that's how it works.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on, I'm pulling this up.
Yeah, no
Let's
problem.
see here. Da, 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 da. So you have a Missouri Realtors. Um, let me see. Let me pull it up here. Pay, of course, pay dues, commercial real estate, realtors license plate. Let me go back one more time. So all you really have to do, like I'd like to tell you I'm doing something real fancy, but I'm not. You
Yeah,
just Google. So what I put in is Missouri State Real Estate Contract. And then you'll see a bunch of stuff. When you go to eForms, you got to pay for all that stuff.
yeah.
Um, there's free forms, and then you go down and you can find other investors who even put the stuff up. And then what happens is a lot of title companies put it up. By the way, if you work with a title company, which you should be in Missouri, they will easily provide this form for you.
Oh, okay, great, great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's you're looking for something that's acceptable by all. So let me see if I can share my screen here.
All right.
Okay. Guys, this is you got to kind of make this a standard practice when you do this because this is how you get through to attorneys.
Okay.
Window, nope. Okay. So remember, I'm not a licensed attorney. I'm not giving you like legal advice here, but you see this form?
Yeah.
You see all those pages on the left side? So
Yeah.
it is
8 pages.
it's only 8 pages.
Okay.
Now you got to read it and come familiar with it, but like this is when I have to deal with like a probate, any type of attorney,
Yeah.
or like a realtor wants to review my stuff. Guys, this is it. And all they do, just so you know, this is all like set jargon. They look at the front page. Okay. So I'm not even familiar with this one. Make sure you click the assignable box.
Okay. Signable
Okay.
box.
And unfortunately, you're going to have to read this contract all the way through once. You'll have an inspection thing there. Put in whatever you agreed for it. And this will accomplish the same thing as a 1 or 2 page contract. It's just very freaking lengthy. It's like annoying. You can write your special agreements in there. And what I do, here's a little key, is type them. So this one's like PD format. You can go in and type it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is on some sort of home buyers, cash buyers. They even put the forms up there because they know how to get by with these. Now, this is probably an older contract. So just Google exactly how I showed you.
Yeah.
And it'll work just fine. And that's what you do in every state when you got to do that. And you're going to run across some attorneys you just can't get through it. It's just, by the way, persistence to overcome attorneys' resistance doesn't work. Yeah. It makes it 10 times worse. So,
all right.
Does that help you out with it? So when it comes up next time, you know exactly which way to go with it. Yeah. Because here's the reality is realtors and attorneys, they just glaze over the contract. They don't want to put more work than they have to. They don't care.
Okay. Okay.
9 times out of 10, they're not charging the client for it. And that's why they're like, well, if you want to sell it for that price, you can do it. A pain in the butt attorney will go line by line, charge the client $500 to $1,000 and tell you everything is wrong, why you're doing business with this guy or gal.
Okay. And
Okay.
Okay, and another quick question.
Yeah.
Why do I like need pictures, especially of the property for virtual wholesaling? Is that for the cash buyers to see?
They want to take a look at it, but keep in mind, you are selling the contract.
Okay.
And you got to stay true to that.
Okay.
You just got to be careful because if you're selling the property virtually and the guy's out of state, obviously they want to see some pictures.
Yeah.
But remember, you are only authorized to sell that contract. So the pictures is kind of like a secondary thing. Whoever you send pictures for, you better make sure it's the actual person you're dealing with.
Okay.
You do, guys, wholesaling, you can't go out and blast pictures all over the internet because you're acting as a real estate agent. So just be careful how you do that. Okay.
Okay. So I could ask the seller to take some pictures or a video of the house, right? Instead of hiring someone to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that would be dynamite if they could do it. They don't always do it, but if not, you might have to get some help to do it. So,
okay. All right.
You got to get through the attorney first.
Yeah, I know.
Attorneys typically take 7 to 10 days to look at stuff, which is the annoying, and you can't push them. You call them, you got to go through the receptionist.
Yeah.
So I usually work with the seller, and
Okay.
sometimes after a week, the seller's like, you know what, I need to sell this property. It's like, and I would tell this but I don't know, you can't really market the property if you have a contract.
If the attorney doesn't respond, I'm just going to talk to the seller and be like, hey, do you want to sell this house or not?
Yeah, it's like we're spending a lot of extra time doing all this stuff. And, and you can take a second look and make sure you got to make sure you get the right price on these properties, guys. Like right now, you guys are all focusing on like, what percentage of the ARV should I offer? The reality is 70%. If you can buy any property 70 cents on the dollar, take it down instantly. You don't need a course or a guru to teach you that stuff. Like,
okay,
if I told you could buy a Rolex watch for $2,000, would you buy it if you knew it was real?
I mean, if I had $2,000, I would buy it.
No, but it's wholesaling now.
Yeah,
you can have an agreement to buy that watch and go find someone. Call me because I'll buy it in a heartbeat because it's a $10,000 watch half the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you need someone to give you permission to buy something 70 cents on the dollar? I'd like to tell you it happens quite a bit with me, but I've been doing this 20 plus years. But the reality is I'd be lying to you guys to say every house you contract 70 cents on the dollar. You're going to starve on that formula because the problem is everybody manipulates the ARV. So if I jack up the ARV 20% and you think you're buying it 70 cents on the dollar, you're the idiot, not the seller. So you have to really dial in the ARV. That's the thing.
Okay.
If you don't get the ARV right, it doesn't matter what percentage you offer. It's going to be wrong. Okay. So it's more important you get the ARV number dialed down because your sellers are going to hyper focusing on ARVs right now. And they're discounting them. Like it seems like every week, every month. So you can't go off like the past numbers anymore. You actually have to start reducing them because cash buyers, I don't know what you guys are seeing, man, but like we're getting a lot of pressure on our side over here, like a lot. They are beating the crap out of us. But I've been through this market before. I'm here to tell you, you just have to keep going through it. Yeah. And you got to treat buyers with respect. You should have been doing this from day one. If you guys bought one of those guru courses where they taught you like just run over your buyers, they're a dime a dozen, you don't need their permission for anything, it's going to blow up on you the next 2 years now. So that's the problem when people teach in a market that's only shooting up like a rocket. They don't understand markets swing back and forth. And what's going on right now is, guys, don't panic. This is actually normal. This is how normal markets operate. They correct. Buyers, sellers, it kind of goes up and down until they find like a neutral buoyancy point. Okay? What's happened in the last 10 years is complete fairyland stuff. And a lot of you guys have piggybacked on like learning this new wave of like from coaches. They don't even have the experience. They don't know what to do. That's why they're all coaches instead of wholesalers because they can't figure out how to make the market work. And honestly, if you put them to the fire, most of them would be crushed. The ones that I'm talking about, the ones that just coach and they're not active in real estate investing. Do you know there's an entire posse out there just to train coaches to sell anything to anybody, and you can scale coaching 1,000 times more than you can wholesaling. And that's why you guys are getting so much crap, so many feeds in your Instagram, your TikTok, and all that other stuff. And that's why me and Zach push so much to educate you guys on what's really going on in the market. So you want to learn from someone like, well, it's like a football coach. They played 20 years ago. It doesn't work that way in wholesaling, man. You've got to be in the game to teach the game. There's no other way to do it. Because if you have a coach teaching a coach, what is their metrics for seeing if you did better? What is it? It's how much revenue did you generate? How do you generate revenue? You charge students. And by the way, I saw a message come out. It says, get in now because we're raising prices. Go ahead. You should all raise your coaching prices. Show them you guys need to speak with your time and your pocketbooks. Stop taking this crap. 5-10 grand to learn like wholesaling.
It's too much.
People don't actually do it. It's ridiculous. So,
all right. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ravon, you got it, man. Okay. Leon, you there?
Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. What can I help you out with?
Well, first, I have to recognize the Marvel background. I love the Marvel background.
Okay, so full disclosure on that. Zach's much more techno than I am. And we were recording videos earlier today in the studio, and I'm like, I came in here. Actually, I'm dealing with some property damage I had from the storm, and I walked in. I'm like, what the hell? And you guys are gonna have to fill me in. Like maybe you can put in the comments stuff like that. Zach loves this stuff. Like and I'm fine with it. But like sometimes I don't want to change the computer because
I get it.
And
it sets the mood. I like it.
Okay, dude. Well, maybe someone can tell me like who's on this side of me, who's on that side. So in the comments.
Spider-Man is above your left shoulder. I see the Hulk over on your right-hand side. I mean, there's everyone there. I think I see Groot too. I mean, I love Marvel, so I just had to point that out. That is really cool.
I don't know, dude. What was the what's the Hulk's name? The his regular character, is it
Bruce
David
Banner?
Bixban or?
Oh, are you talking the actor?
Well, you know how like he transforms to like the human to the Incredible Hulk. So
yeah, Bruce Banner.
But what's his name on the character though? Is it Bruce Banner?
Bruce Banner, yeah.
Okay. Dude, this is how old I am. I used to watch it. I think it was in the late 70s, and Lou Ferrigno turning into Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! That's just like
that's what my dad showed me growing up. I respect
it. It was crazy. I can go old school on a lot of stuff. So it's funny because Zach does this stuff, and you see when we do lives Thursday night, I just sit there and go, I don't know what you're talking about, because he was talking about Black Ops 2 yesterday. I'm just like,
yep. I just watched that video.
I'm lost. Like, but then I go back to
so
like
funny.
dude. I grew up on unfortunately Atari when I was really really little, but like my teenage years were Donkey Kong, Galaga, stuff like that. So
okay.
we had to stack quarters up and get in line, man. You guys are so spoiled today, but what's going on with wholesaling, man? What can I help you out? Because I got ADHD and I will spin off here. So let's stay focused,
yes, sir.
man.
Honestly, me too. Well, first, I just wanted to take a second to introduce myself. My name is Liam. I actually just came across your channel less than a week ago. Since then, I mean, I've replaced music with your podcast. I'm on Spotify. I'm listening to YouTube videos. I have literally everything playing on my time that I have available. Unfortunately, I lost my job about a month ago.
Okay.
And I tried getting into phone flipping. I mean, phone flipping to me is a lot lower level of real estate investing, because I mean, I'm just trying to negotiate the lowest possible price for a phone when I can translate that to same thing with a home. But for me, I want to think long term. So I've devoted my time to essentially mastering this process. I watched your video on reverse wholesaling. I'm super interested in, I'd say first finding a buyer. I just want to confirm that that's probably a good direction to go in, because from what I see, a lot of people are struggling to find a buyer as soon as they find, or as soon as they close on a sale. Is that correct?
Yes and no. So our market has shifted in the last, it's been shifting for this entire year, but like you guys are like, the mainstream media is starting to go, okay, we're getting data in from real estate and it's getting ugly. So We're definitely in a buyer's market. They're going to
Mhm.
tell you like we're medium neutral. We're full on in a buyer's market because it's really hard to get a mortgage at, we're at almost a 7% interest rate heading to 8. So
Mhm.
whichever side you're leaning towards. So if I'm in a seller's market, you put more effort towards the seller. When you go to a buyer's market, you're going to have to lean a little bit more into the buyer. But the seller thing's never easy because the reality is sellers are much more educated. They got much better tools, just like you do. They have Zillow, they have Redfin, they got Trulia. They track their house like it's a stock. I didn't have that when I first started out. But remember, there was no
Mhm.
education on how to do this. It was completely trial and error. So you're not going to get hurt doing it, but keep in mind the problem with solely focusing on buyers is if you contacted me, the first thing I'm going to pound you with, go, hey, Liam, tell me what you got.
Mhm.
And you're going to go, and when I hear the second, I'm going to
Yes,
hang
sir.
up. Like, I'm just like, I'm not rude, but that's the reality of the business world. And so
Mhm.
if you just do one side, that's the challenge with doing that because they feel like they get like, okay, you're marketing me, but you don't have a product to sell me. What kind of
I
business are you
gotcha.
running, Liam? And so you're going to have to find some balance. So the best way is doing both. And as
Okay.
so like in the perfect world, I was extremely nervous when I started wholesaling, like most people are. Like, this is the truth. Nobody tells you the
Mm.
truth. They just, oh, it was perfect. It was great. I was contacting sellers and I was contacting buyers. I was getting called to the table all the time, 2003 and 4. And when I was reaching out to sellers, I had 4 or 5 deals I was trying to make work. But I couldn't figure out what number to offer them because everyone just say offer 70 cents on the dollar. Nobody takes that like right off the bat. I'm here to tell you, like, you're going to get kicked out of a lot of homes. You're going to get hung up on that formula.
Mhm.
So when I got closer to it, I go, well, I have some houses in this zip code and like a 3-2. What kind of price range you're looking at? What type of property do you want them like ready to go, or are you looking for something you can fix up, or are you looking for a rental? So a better quality of questions. And then honestly, he goes, listen, I'll pay 200 for any 3-2 you got ready to go that needs less than 50 grand of rehab. Boom. I would go back and work with those 4 or 5, and I'd find one that would work with me, and I would
Okay.
squeeze a profit out of it. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't pretty. I made 5 grand, but I'm going to fight another day. And my next goal is to make 10 grand.
Yeah, it's
And
that
that
first
will
deal.
help you. What's that?
I was just saying it's that first deal. I'm looking for that first deal.
Yeah. So if you want to learn how to do it, because the reality is how to price these properties is number one, buy them as cheap as you can.
Mhm.
That's like, you don't need me to tell you that, right?
Yeah.
That's like me go, hey, Rick, give me a good stock tip or buy low and sell high. It's not going to help you. So the problem with just doing the buyer side is you kind of you're basically lying to people, and it actually messes with you. So I want you to do both, so you actually
Okay.
have inventory you're working on, and it will help you dial in prices a little bit better. I used to have really sketchy deals, and you all have sketchy deals. You know what I'm talking about. If I can find someone that will pay me 200,000, and this lady wants like 195, I might take that 5 grand if I have a bird in hand, right? And do an
Mhm.
assignment. Guys, sometimes you got to take it. You got to understand your buyers. You have to look at it from their perspective. What's in it for me? A cash buyer is only going to buy it with the promise of either solving a problem for them, getting them a house they couldn't get anywhere else, or them making a profit. If you can't
Mhm.
solve either one of those two, they're not interested in working with you. The last 5 years, unfortunately, the mantra has put everything under contract, slap it out there, and someone will always pay you more. Those days are over. So the good news is a lot of the would-be wholesalers, they're all going to fade away by the end of this year, if not the early part of next year. You know why? Because you can only contract so many houses and fail at it so many times before you get your butt kicked. Eventually, one of them is going to be taken down. They're going to get lazy. They're going to get sued, or they're going to go against the wrong person. Okay. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I would do both. And
Okay.
that's the problem is when you're learning a market, especially if you're doing virtual, dude, I've been like 100 grand off on like a virtual market. I don't know the market. Like, I look at the data, but like it doesn't always translate for you. So are you going to do it virtually or locally?
So that would be my other question. I know because right now I'm in Colorado, and I know that
Okay.
in Pennsylvania, back where my family is, I know the market. I mean, I don't know this because this is this is my skepticism, but I would assume that it could be better, just because real estate here seems like it's a lot more expensive. But
Okay.
I don't know. That would be my question.
So here's the deal. The first thing I want you to do is go over to freewholesaling.com and just go through it. And the idea is you don't have to study it night and day. We structure it so the marketing and the sales is up front, so you can actually take measurable actions to get started. Okay.
Okay.
Number two is always be active in the market you can. I don't care if you live in downtown like San Francisco. There's always a deal. I have a friend that lives in San Francisco. He flips 3 to 4 houses a year, and he makes $500,000 on every house. You know why? Because he knows the market. Now, he's got financial resource stuff that came over time, over 15 years of flipping properties. But if you find a deal, you can always bring money to the table. You guys got to get past this thing where it's like, it's got to be my money. It doesn't. Wholesaling, if you do it correctly, you never really own the property, and you don't really use much of your money at all. Your money goes to marketing and mastering how to do this business and become an incredible marketer. That's where the money is in wholesaling. So many guys get stuck in this fix and flip mode, all this other stuff. It's a huge distraction. I saw the other day a coach. I mean, I just cringe when a coach talks about designing a home. Okay. Designing a home, that's a whole nother business. You don't want me in the design sector. I would destroy your house. Okay. I'm not a designer. I think I'm somewhat colorblind. If it was up to me, I'd have fish mounts. I would have football posters everywhere. I'd have UFC Fight Club. I'd have wrestling mats in the room. You don't want me doing it. It would be a major man cave. That's why I have a wife, so I don't make mistakes like that. So become familiar with your market, and then when you see something, go, man, that house is like 150,000 off. Now you can go in and deep dive in. And here's the problem. Everybody talks about, the average person thinks they can make a killing in real estate. They have no idea what they're doing. The average person buys a home, sells it 10 years later, and tells you they made $150,000. That is the biggest lie you ever hear in America. The reality is, living in your home, it's an expense. It's not an asset. If you added up all your trips to Home Depot, Bed Bath Beyond, all the monies you've paid in taxes, everything else like that, I guarantee at best you're going to break even.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've owned multi-million-dollar homes. I'm just telling you, they are money pits, man. So this reality where you're going to make money off your house is like a joke. So know your local market, and when it comes, you can strike, because everybody talks about it, but very few people actually take action. As far as Pennsylvania, dude, home run. Like, honestly, I know some very large operations over there that do very, very well. I've trained a lot of those people over there. I think it's an amazing market. I've done some virtual, and then the fact that you have familiarity with it is like, that's going to make it much, much easier for you. So I would do a combo of both.
Okay. Yeah.
And then your local stuff is just going to be putting your ears to the table, going to local real estate clubs, networking with an occasional realtor that works with investors, networking with title companies, just stuff like that. So like an instance, I network with all the title companies. Here's a little secret, guys. Title companies are sending me deals all over the place. Title companies, did you hear me? They're giving me deals. They go, listen, this guy came in here and he wanted to sell his property because we closed 3 of his others, and his wife died, and he just doesn't want to deal with it. Are you kidding me? Like, they even have it pre-negotiated. They know exactly what I buy it before. Like, hey, will you do this deal?
Right into your hands.
And they say, listen, will you do the closing with us?
Okay.
Absolutely. So I can only do that now. I got like a 12-year relationship with this title company. I put in my time with it. Like, I got my butt kicked for a while with it, but it works. So I think you're right on. The Pennsylvania market's wonderful. Okay. You just got to figure out how you're going to attack it. I'd use like List REI or Zach Data, whichever one's more comfortable. Like, use a trial version of it. And you have to have one of those tools for virtual investing. It's really impossible to do it. You can do it on your own, but you will drive yourself nuts. I'm just like here to tell you that it's a minimal investment to do something like that. So just look at it when you do that, and then go through freewholesaling.com and then jump on these lives. Guys, by the way, there's people on these lives. I'm looking at people I've noticed. Obviously, I know Jason. I've met Chadrick before. I know I spoke to Shaquila. That was yesterday. Joel, I think I have. Colin, I'm not sure. I'm going to find out here shortly. So, but like, do that, because people like, hey, I can't believe you guys actually teach this stuff for free. I do. Dude, I'm here to change this business. The way you guys are consuming information, it's changed. 2003, I didn't have a choice but to go through like these coaches and all this crap you go through. And now You guys got it worse. Hop on the discovery call. Hey, you know how you qualify in a discovery call? Do you have a credit card? Oh, you
Yeah.
don't? I have a payment plan for you. Everybody qualifies. I watched a high-level coach. They said they only deal with clients that sell 20 or houses more minimum before they'll qualify them. They just came out with I guess you call it an infomercial. I saw it on Instagram somewhere. If you have 3 houses done, they will qualify you for the $30,000 program. Guys, you put your money out there, people are going to take it left and right. So you're either going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money. Either way, you're going to pay. So the problem is when you pay and you don't get value for what you do because you assume what they said was correct. 9 times out of 10, it's a lie. I'm just here to tell you, dude, I've been in this business 20 plus years. So you're starting off on the right path. You're going to have to do the work. I think you're right on in what you're doing. And how old are you?
I am 24 years old.
Dude. I didn't even wake up. I didn't wake up in this business until I was 33. And I made a crap load of money. And then you got to learn how to keep the money. That's like phase 2. But like you got to go out and generate it. And it's going to be a battle the first 90 to 180 days. And if like you're completely committed to doing it, I look forward to get this done. So it's like you've already tried flipping a couple of things. So you might as well find the highest scale thing you can flip.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys go from cars. We talked to a guy yesterday that was flipping junk in houses. And he goes, man, I checked out your course. I tried it out. He goes, 30 days. The guy made 40K and he doesn't know a thing about real estate. I'm just like, he goes, dude, it'd take me like a year and a half to make that, like just doing the junk business.
I was actually in the gym listening to that this morning. I was like, that 30K is literally what I made in a whole year. Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for this content.
Really. Yeah. And then, Corey on here, like, he's just a hardworking guy and just like found a channel like through some stupid TikTok somebody posted, like probably my son. And then he just put what he does together. And like Corey, like we're good friends. I love seeing you guys win. And when you win and like we work on it, and if we even JV on a deal, work together, like you guys get like my phone number. Like I'm for real in this, man. Like I don't sit here. You guys ever notice I don't network with gurus, even though I know them, I respect them. They're good people. They're just trying old methods. Okay. And there just comes a point where you have to change in time how you agree. We all consume information completely different. YouTube has completely changed the game, in my opinion. Yeah, and honestly, I think YouTube is the differentiator when you find out if someone's for real or not in this business. You guys want to go and don't look at just subscribers. By the way, people buy subscribers all day long. Okay. You can go and look at their activity and see if they talk the walk. They actually do what they say. Do they post deals? Are they constantly trying to help the community out? And that's all we try to do here. So keep doing what you're doing and then jump back on these lives. And then you just got to take action. Don't sit there and like read everything. Start your process. So next time you come on here, tell me what actions you're taking to attack that Pennsylvania market. Okay.
Absolutely. Will do. Do you actually have a schedule as to when you guys go live so I can know to look forward to that? Or is it just
it's pretty straightforward. We go 6 days. So we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is always the same 5 p.m. So you can set that. And remember, it's all recorded. So you guys do it at your convenience. If you're on live, great. You get the interaction. But like I get it. We're all busy. We got lives, kids, and everything else. You'll eventually have that. You'll figure it out. And it's just, and then I go live on, Zach goes live Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We do it to kind of help people out on the West Coast. Okay. And then I go on Monday night at 8 o'clock and we do that on our independent YouTube channels. And that content's a little bit different. It's still real estate related, but we kind of open it up a little bit broader and it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, I see you have a lot of YouTube channels, but I will go through everything and I can't wait to hop on another live.
Okay.
Truly.
Awesome, man. You're in the right place, man.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. It's good talking to you.
Okay. We'll talk, man. See you. Okay. Let me, man, you guys are active tonight. I tell you what, eventually I'm going to have to get a sidekick on. I love when Zach works with me because he does all this for me. And it's just much freer to talk. So if I look distracted, I'm just going through all the questions and make sure I don't miss anything on here. So I hate to leave people out on the comments. So I'm ripping through it. Corey dropping the bomb there. What's up, Corey? So Corey's what I was talking about earlier. And by the way, guys, this is not a requirement. It's much appreciated, and it just goes. It's more expensive than you think to operate a YouTube channel. I could ever tell you, but like honestly, I make my money like flipping properties. I don't do any coaching products. I don't collect a dime from you guys. We just recommend products we use in our business and we test them out. So I appreciate it, Corey. And by the way, if you guys ever want to connect with Corey, he's always in the comments here. Corey feels like he has to give something back to me and Zach. Honestly, his success alone is a gift that just fulfills me. Like, so he's a great guy and it's had a huge impact on his family. And my goal with all this, so you guys know, is to have as much of an impact as I can on as many people as possible. So if I set you up for a $5,000 or $10,000 coaching course, I'm going to be limited, because what I've learned over 20 years in wholesaling, if you pay or you get it for free, you have to go through the same journey. Gurus are going to tell you, unless you have skin in the game, you won't pay attention. Corey completely defies exactly what I said. Everybody's told me I was crazy for what I was doing. Honestly, we have the most active Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses for Real, in wholesaling, hands down. When I say active, the most communication, the most active members. There's people with more members, but they're dead. It's all spam. It's all crap. And we want to help out. I appreciate Corey because he constantly gives back to the community. And so by creating this free environment, it creates a community where all they want to do is give back. Okay. I've never made Corey pay me a dime or do anything. I think he's amazing. And as long as Corey wants to be part of the community, he's more welcome. But like, Corey's going to get to the point where he's teaching me stuff. And by the way, a good teacher learns from the people he teaches the most. And this is why I do the interaction and the feedback. It works really well. So let me jump on. What's up, Jason?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Glad
What's
to
going on?
finally be on a call with you guys. I appreciate you. I found not too long ago.
Have I talked to you before?
No, I'm actually pretty new to your guys' community.
Oh, cool. How'd you find us?
I do an ungodly amount of research and studying when I get dedicated to something. For the past 4 years, that's all I've done is just listening and learning about real estate.
Okay, cool. What can I help you out with, man? What's your question?
Well, I'm a flipper turned more to the wholesale side. I'm from Utah, and I've only done 2 flips, so nothing crazy, but I find myself struggling to actually I can find flip leads all day. I pulled a vacant and high equity list off of PropStream for just so I can have something to start cold calling. And I've done other marketing before that, but I just, to no avail. Like, I haven't gotten anything, and I fell for the guru trap. I actually got back from an event, so I'm trying to hit it hard and get my first wholesale deal.
That's okay. Listen, guys, a lot of people think, hey, Rick's, I don't have a beef with gurus. My problem is, if they just share the truth, we would all be better off. And that's my only thing, because a lot of them complain about where the current wholesaling industry is. But these are the same people selling you like novation agreements and all these tricks to get around wholesaling. It's creating more and more problems. That how far are we going to push this? And that's my problem. Let me tell you, I love physical environments, but I have learned, and I'm here to teach you all a lesson. When you all get stacked in a room and get highly motivated, and you get this, it's like a worship thing. I have people up on a stage, and listen, I've spoke on stage and stuff like that. But the reality is they have one goal there. It's to get you to sign up for something. I'd like to tell you they're out for to make everybody a better person, but you can't verify anything they say in these things. If you question one thing, you're asked to leave. And for that reason, I have challenges with what goes on. And that's why I don't associate with it. They're not bad people. And I respect them for what they do. But if you're going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars on coaching program and then do a little bit of real estate here and there, you got guys, you got to wake up. What's going on here? Why do you think some of these gurus can buy so much real estate? Do you think it's because they're really sharps? No, because you guys are feeding them so much coaching money, they can spend it on whatever they want. It's just the truth. I hate to tell you this, guys. I watched a YouTube today. I'm not even going to call it out. Oh my God. You know what? I'm not going to say because I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm going to stop there. I'm just saying, when you're in the room, the energy level is awesome, right? It's like really
Right.
cool, but like you want pumped it, but the problem is you walk out with a lot of questions like the day after, and it's like, okay, what do I do? Oh, to do that, that's $10,000. Oh, but if you want to get in a high level club, it's 30,000. And it's like, you're like, dude, where does it stop? Like, what's the number to get me all in? And you'll
Yeah,
be
that's
shocked.
kind of what I faced.
So, by the way, almost all those programs at some point they work up to $100,000. They're trying to find the point that you go, how much money will you throw at them? So, I'm all for it if it gets you started. Listen, I hired so many gurus, it's embarrassing. But like I learned something that the guru is not the person that makes you successful. You actually have to do the work. So regardless if you use my system or you use a guru, at the end of the day, you're going to be responsible for the work. And if you think one guru is going to hold you accountable when they got 1,000+ students, come on, like seriously, like wake up, guys. It's never going to happen. They don't care. They got your money. They're off the hook. I'm the only guy that offers a free JV program. How is that? We put the work in, man. I got people working like night and day, busting their butt. And you guys sometimes have to submit hundreds of deals before we even catch one. But like, I'm not charging you any money up front when doing it. So I love the event, but the problem is if anybody ever had a real Q&A, like, hey, can I see your last 5 HUDs you did? Hey, just also, you would never get an answer from it because you don't know what's going on. Most coaches derive at least 80% of their income from coaching. So it makes you wonder how many properties are really flipping if all you're doing is coaching.
Yeah.
That's why you'll never see me like, that's it. I think they're good people. It's just somebody sold them on the coaching thing. And I've been pitched this so hard. I've told what I'm doing is I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to get blackballed. And you're going to starve. Well, guys, I'm still doing it, man. See, because I rely on my business to make money. And this, honestly, I have a lot of fun doing it. And I have more experience than most people on stage doing this. And for that fact, if anybody wants to debate me or come on with me, I'm all for it. But like if anything, Guru should thank me and Zach because we bring more people into the wholesaling business than ever. And I tell them that, like, we're doing you guys a service. You guys are terrible at marketing and stuff. All you guys market is the vision of wholesaling. Like you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, but you don't tell them actually how to do it. And that's where I have the problem with it. So the event's not bad you went to. Don't worry about it, Jason. I've been to a ton of them. But I walked out more determined. I go, I got to figure out the mechanics of this. The pep rally's over, right? So you went to a pep rally. And did they give you any actionable steps to take from it?
You know, there was a lot of really like good, awesome info, but it seems like it was just a lot of regurgitated stuff that I've heard. Yeah. And I come from the flip side. I can find flips all day, but in my market, I'm not doing flips. I've seen the shift and I can't take the risk. I'm a single dad with 2 kids. So wholesaling is where I'm trying to make it.
So you're in the right spot. So you got to find the right program. Like in these, like, so if I went to a seminar, like a stage full, here's value to me. Let's get on the phone. Let's call random people and let me hear how you talk to them live. Oh, no. I can't do that. I can't. Why can't you got thousands of people here wanting to know how to, I don't do that. Like, and so like we do it here. My son does it like every week for 2 hours. Just sits there. You guys tell me who to call. I'll call. He takes deals all the time for students on here. Like that's the stuff you guys need, right? Like that's, I mean, role playing's okay, but it's fake. Like, let's be honest with it. So when you do something live with someone, it's an amazing way to learn how to do this business. And for that reason, you will never catch one guru on stage ever doing it live because it's risky. Okay. There's a guru out there that teaches cold calling. He will never do a live call. It's all recorded and they're typically to agents. Why is that? Listen, my son gets run over all the time on the cold calls. I'm just here to tell you, like, we're normal people. So anyways, I'm off that kick. What can I do to help you out with it? I know you're a little bit frustrated. You came from the flipping world. It sounds like you're analytical, correct?
I am very analytical, and only the last 6 months I've been putting in massive action. Okay. And I'm converting. So it's hard for me because I've tried putting out flyers. I've tried putting out business cards, posting on social media, telling everybody that I know. And I'm trying to maximize what little time I have and maximize the results. But I honestly, I don't know what's the best way to go about it in my market, or if I should even continue in my market.
Okay. So you mind sharing what market you're in, or you can just give me a state?
I'm just in Utah, Weber, Davis County area. I avoid the Salt Lake City area because it's like super oversaturated.
Okay.
So I've been trying to get leads here, but I just haven't really gotten any hits at all, honestly. And I get a little confused with PropStream on where to pull, so I just pulled like the most generic list possible.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So obviously I'm sure you've gone to freewholesaling.com, right?
Yes, I signed up actually right before I went to this event. So I just got back like the other day, and I'm just getting into it.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do just to kind of save you some time. Go through it. I have 20 years experience. My son has 5 years. We're throwing another 2 years on there in a few months. Be 27 years. Dude, we do this business every day. I'm in a very active market. South Florida is probably very similar to what kind of you're at type of deal. I don't know much about your area, but I know it's active because I know investors up there. We teach you like what we do, and it's not sexy. It's like getting down the business. So we're big fans of government lists. Like they're free, but they're a pain in the butt to get. But my God, the lists are so highly motivated. Like we have so many leads we're working now just off the government list that we've scaled back a lot of our other types of marketing because we're getting inundated with leads. And it's not even that great right now because the sellers are just now realizing, okay, my price isn't going up. They're trying to figure out how far it's going to be going down. They haven't got that memo yet. But using like government list, unbelievable. Like it's like, I hate the word game changer because somebody else abuses that in this business. But if you're in this business and it changes your business, you can use it. So coaches can't use that because it's not fair. So you've got to find a different line. Why coaches don't teach you government lists? Because they're free and they can't sell it to you. Okay.
Right.
Code violations. Oh my God. Probates, phenomenal. Water shutoffs, tax delinquencies, pre-foreclosures. Like you can go down the list. Just go on the free wholesaling and look under list. Now, don't get me wrong. I like PropStream and all the other lists that we use. They're convenient, but right now, the way this market's going, you're going to have to get a much more direct list. So are you doing it virtually or are you actually physically in that market?
I'm physically in the market. The only other hiccup that I've found, it may not even be an issue. It may be something I'm overlooking or looking into too deeply. Yeah. Is I don't have my my license and it's a non-disclosure state. Okay. And I found, so I tried going after and tried to search in my public records, and it's rather difficult to find some. I was trying to go after probates, and I wasn't sure where. I called and they had no idea what I was even.
So you understand when you reach out for like these government lists, if you can physically go in person, much more powerful. It's very hard to say no to people in person, especially for public records. Number two, if you email or call, it's really easy just to say no because that's their job. Okay. So you got to get clear on what direction to go. So if you go to the probate courts, you've got to go to your county courthouse and there's a probate department. It's mandated by law. There's no way around it. Code violations. Every city does a little bit different, but usually looking for the building department or like the city hall. They're usually sometimes the police department's mixed in with them too. Remember, if you call the wrong department and they don't know what you're talking, it's not their job to steer you in the right direction. Just like, I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Once you figure it out once, it's easy. But like, you're going to get a lot of resistance. You overcome it with persistence. Just go in the whole list section of like freewholesaling.com. It's let me ask you this, or just briefly, so we all have an education. What was the predominant way they taught you to pull records at your event? Like what was the way they pitched?
Honestly, they were trying to pitch a lot of social media presence, which I don't have that yet. I'm not big enough.
Waste of
They're
time.
Yeah, and they were pitching a lot of like mailers, a little bit of SMS text blasting, and then hiring like a VA for cold calling and pulling lists off of like PropStream. They didn't say
Dude,
anything about government lists.
5 years ago, that stuff worked. It doesn't work anymore. Like, that's the truth. So you got stage speakers speaking about how they had success 4 or 5 years ago. It's changed, man. I'm telling you, things are going back to old school tactics. Government list. You got to look for where there's smoke, there's fire. The social media thing, that's a terror. Like, I'm just telling you, like, me and Zach are pretty big on social media, and like, I don't even make a push on social media, like for motivated sellers, because it's just too much work. It's just, you won't yield the results and what you'd have to spend to make that work. You'd be better off honestly in like a paid per click campaign. So many of these things, they're free and they're in front of you. Like, you're missing good old fashioned networking, like RIA meetings, networking with title companies, with other realtors, property management companies. It's endless what you can do. So go over to Free Wholesaling, dive into it, and start jumping on these. We're on 6 days a week. I'm happy to help you out. I apologize for the guru thing, but that's the problem, guys. And I want you to understand, you go to these gurus, nobody asked them, when's the last time you cold called on a PropStream list for that type of list? And what was your results? And can you show me proof of your results? Dude, they would fall off the stage if you did that. You realize that? Like, you can't question anything when they're on a stage. And that's the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when they're making millions of dollars telling you guys $5,000 and $10,000 coaching programs, they're translating that to their flipping success. It's not. It's flipping students. It's not flipping property. So use those events if you can network on them and like stuff like that. But the problem is the actionable things to do. I just can't find them in their programs. And then the only way you can find them in the programs is you have to pay them. And then they pull the curtain back. And 9 times out of 10 people are pissed. And that's the problem in this industry. It's like, so we do it the opposite. Sign up. It's free. The only thing I ask is for your email. It doesn't cost you anything. And then basically the curtain's already open. Just come on through and figure it out. And I tell you, man, you got to get to work, man. So like, how old are your kids?
4 and 6.
Yeah. So like, you've got a legacy you want to build for them. And how old are you?
27.
Yeah. So you're a young man. So you got plenty of time to figure this out. So you're no different than my son. You're no different than me. And so I've already proven the method. You just got to follow it. Now, here's the truth. What works in my market is always a little bit different in every market. I do multiple virtual markets. They're all different and unique. That's the value of real estate. You've already figured that out on the flipping side. You're in a smart strategy because flipping right now is brutal. Like, it's tough for people to try to figure what's going to happen 9 to 12 months down the road. So once you get going in wholesaling, it's amazing. I spoke to Dylan last night. He struggled terribly his first 6 months. I mean, like, we had some hard conversations and they're all recorded on here. And I told him, just put in the work, do exactly what I tell you, and it will come. It's going to be painful for a little bit. It's going to be brutally uncomfortable. And then he got it. We talked last night. He's got so many deals. He's trying to figure out how to scale his business, hire more employees, and do everything. And guys, this isn't a down market. So here's the problem in these seminars. They're not going to tell you it's going to hurt for 90 days. So if you're okay with that and you can embrace it, it's like if you were going into a physical competition, if you were going to learn jiu-jitsu tomorrow, you know you're going to get your wrist twist up, your neck contorted, because you have to be manipulated so many times before you figure out how to fight against it. And it's no different in wholesaling. I don't know why people think they're going to skip this. So the whole idea of our mission here is to help support you, but give you actionable steps that you can move forward and get deals done. By the way, property management companies, they're freaking gold mine right now. Like, they got people, the properties aren't making money. They're starting to become vacant. They need repairs. And, I give offers to the management company and they know the problem properties and they want to get rid of them. Here's how you compensate property management companies. They're all licensed realtors and they get paid a percentage off of the deal. So that's an idea for you to explore too.
That's a good idea.
I have one with 500 properties. What percentage do you think those properties are a train wreck? Probably at least 3 to 5% of them. So do the math on that alone. They're like, man, I don't want to manage this property anymore. I'm like, they go, we don't even want to put it on the market. So there's so many ways. Do freewholesaling.com to hop on these things. You're in a really good market. You just got to find the towns, like the outskirts. I can't tell you. I agree with you on Salt Lake City. I've never been to Utah. I'd love to go there. And I think you're on the right path. So I apologize you went through your journey, but like I've been to a bunch of them. I paid people $100,000. I go, teach me everything you know. And some of them were phenomenal. And some of them like, you know, less than I do. And I've learned no matter what level you're on in real estate, there's a certain amount of BS that comes with this business. And it's your job, you guys, you have to sort through. So if you ask questions and they don't want to answer or they get really rude with you, heed the warning. Watch any big stage person. If you politely ask them high quality questions, see if they avoid you in the crowd. And if they do, heed the warning. Like it's just anybody can tell you, hey, buy low, sell high. Like I don't need advice like that. Hey, you want to lose weight, eat less and exercise more. We all know that. It's the implementation that's the important part. So you got it, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. You found the right place and just keep moving on.
Hey, I apologize. Just one. Can I ask one quick question?
Yeah, sure.
If I've got a little bit of cash that I'm willing to spend towards expediting this process, is there anything you'd recommend I pursue?
Okay. I'm gonna give you a quick one. So
yeah,
on the bottom of the screen there, mailingmastery.com. Spend a little bit of time understanding it. I put all 20 years of what I figured out direct mail. I'm telling you right now, there's nobody in the country better than me at direct mail. And I'm not talking about, I don't spend the most on direct mail. I get the highest quality leads for what I spend. Okay. I don't believe, listen, I've spent 50 grand in a month in marketing. You can't scale marketing and wholesaling like that. It doesn't work. If it did, we'd all do it and there'd be like 5 big players. It's a very localized market. Check out mailingmastery.com. I have a technique in there. I call it, it's like the ROS letter. I figured this out. Honestly, this is like a 12-year project I worked on. I tested it out. I spent 60 grand of my own money testing the data. And like I hit it out of the park with this thing. But I've been doing this since 2003. I don't change it. If you have some money and you know how to deal with it and you know how to take time doing it, direct mail is a phenomenal resource, but it's not for the average person just starting out. For those that want to spend the money, take the discipline in doing it, check it all out there. I have the links with it. I work with a specialty company. I know the owner very well. And like I do custom mail pieces with them and I only do stuff that works. So I put my money on the line with it every day. So if you're going to spend anything, I would probably do it with that. The challenge with hiring a cold call like VA, if you don't understand how cold calling works, 9 times out of 10, these VAs will just take your money and take advantage of you. And dude, I've tried it. Like, so Zach runs our cold calling, but you got to understand, Zach probably made, I don't know, 300,000-400,000 cold calls before we even hired anybody. And we still struggle with it. So it's not that easy. When they tell you just hire a VA to do cold calling, I'd like to tell you that's easy. Guys, comment in the comments there if you've had challenges doing that. Unless you completely master someone, you cannot outsource it because you don't understand how to manage them and look at the metrics on how to evaluate them. So check out Mailing Mastery because you can go in for a reasonable budget and get stuff done. I only stick to postcards. I'm just telling you, don't do letters because it gets expensive, but a very targeted approach on the right list. But Mailing Mastery looks at the whole picture, not just, because here's the problem with mailing. People go, I tried mail, it sucked. I didn't get a deal out of it. It doesn't work that way. It's not designed to be an instant overnight success. If you give direct mail a quarter, you'll usually be very happy, but you have to follow a systematic process and you can't deviate from it. So I get 1,000 questions on it. I created this whole thing. I'm not charging you a dime for it. Check it out. Come on some lives and decide if you want to implement that plan. If you want to go into detail, I'm happy to share it with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You guys are awesome.
Okay, man. Good luck, man. I'll see you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, man, I'm trying to keep up. I need to. Truth Hurts Too. Awesome shirt, Rick. Been a fan after I started wrestling in high school. So, dude, I love the UFC because it's honestly, I don't know. There's something about 2 grown men just smacking it out, man. I think honestly in real estate, if some of the gurus could just smack it out and wrestle it out, we could work stuff out. I am not a threat to gurus. If anything, I promote your business. And honestly, if I have such a subpar product, you guys should like prolific. You guys should be everywhere. You should be doing great. I don't care, dude. Listen, my job is to bring as many people in the wholesaling as humanly possibly because it's changed my life. How we go about it, we can have a different of opinions and be adults about it. And I love this business for it. The reason why I love wrestling and I have an asphyxiation is I got pulled off my football team to do it. And the coach goes, you got to become a more well-rounded player. Well, how hard can wrestling be? Dude, I found out the hard way, man. It is brutal. Like it's just tough. But the reason I like it is because it tests a person's physical limits. And it's much more than physical. It's very mental. And a lot of it's posturing when you get in there. And like, so I love UFC. You see two guys or you see two girls. I mean, these girls really go at it. They're crazy. And they kind of like peacock with each other. And they like, you go, oh, I think that person's going to win or that one. And they get down to it. The person that puts in the most work, the most practice, the most discipline, the correct nutrition wins. The same thing happens in wholesaling because you are going to get in some real confrontations every now and then. And the more you're prepared for it, the better off you're going to be. And I love wrestling because it humbles you quickly, but like there's somebody always coming after you. And sometimes we have to fight for what we want. So if you're in the trenches now, you're just starting getting a wholesale deal, think like a gladiator, like you've got to fight for what you want. No one's going to hand it to you. If you think our government's going to bail you out, you got another thing coming to you. You have to take matters in your own hands. I am biased. Wholesaling has changed my life. I taught my son wholesaling. The why I have an asphyxiation with wrestling is while he was wrestling all 4 years of high school, I slowly implemented teaching him how to be on his own. And towards his last few years in high school, he was out putting out bandit signs, answering calls. Even while he was in high school, he would step out and take a motivated seller call. And I got a call saying, listen, I had to kick your son out of class. I go, why? Because he took a phone call. I go, from who? He goes, I don't know. He's doing some sort of business. I'm like, yes, that's it, guys. Because he wasn't going to wait for a teacher or a school district or anyone to fend for himself. He took a lot of it upon himself, but he did this while he did wrestling. And it was a great analogy. So if any of you guys want to be like dynamite parents and stuff like that, find your kids and challenge them while they're young. I love cross country too, because you're only racing against yourself. You're not racing the person next to you. You beat your personal record. All I want you guys to do is be 1% better each day. And if you can commit to doing that, amazing things will happen in your life. So don't get me talking wrestling. Now you get me ADHD. I got some good events coming up soon, man. So, and then my Dolphins, the heck's up with Tua last night, man? He's got to learn how to take a fall, man. He falls like a timber tree and he snaps his head back, posting that gang signal. It's quite crazy. So, let's see, man. Jadrick, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm getting all off, man. I'm talking about like football and wrestling and what's going on with you, man. This guy's on the other side of the world. I can never avoid him when he comes on. An awesome gentleman. All South Africa, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and what town are you in?
Johannesburg.
I got to get over there someday, man. Beautiful country.
You must.
What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
But guess what? I got my hands on the court violation list.
You got it.
I got it. Yes.
Yeah. And what did I tell you last time when you called me? Tell me, like, sum it up. Like, what did I tell you to do? Like,
you have to persevere, and then you have to see which department has the list. So I had the wrong department, so I had to reach out to the city of Richmond. Someone that department had the list already.
Yeah.
So I gave him a call, and he said I must send an email. I sent an email. He said supposed to 5 days, but it took 2 days, and he sent me the list for the past 3 months from June to August. Then I asked him to send again for the March and June. He sent me again, so I have all the lists, over 1,000 leads.
Yeah. So guys, he's on the other side of the earth, and I told him basically, Cedric, you're going to have to overcome resistance with persistence, and you're going to have to find the right department. It's on you. It's not on them. And he took the words and took actions and got it. So what are you going to do with that list now?
So now I'm just going to skip trace the numbers, and I'm going to call. I'm also going to buy the batch dialer with up to 3 liners. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, I gotta like me and Zach gotta put on like an international wholesaling thing where I'll get like you and I got about 8 or 9 others, and we'll just like spend like 2 hours. Like, I'm just fascinated because listen, unfortunately, listen, I love America, but like a lot of us get like lazy, make excuses here, and like you're trying to make like a real difference. Let me ask you, if you before you did wholesaling, like what did you do for a living in your hometown there?
Also trying to do real estate here, but here it's a bit hard.
Yeah.
A lot of mess. So US is more advanced. You have PropStream, you have everything together. Here you gotta suffer to make
But
it.
you have decent internet access over there?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Well, that's good. So that's like all you guys really need. You need internet access and a phone helps, some sort of calling. But I gotta tell you, man, like probably, I don't know, like 10 years ago, do you think it would be possible to do what you could today? If
I
you went
don't
back
think
in
so.
time, like, no, it's like, guys, this is unheard of. Like, honestly, like virtual investing, like it wasn't even a thing in the United States when I started. Like nobody didn't even know how to do it. Like we were just struggling to do it locally. And now with the advent of the internet and all this other stuff, it's crazy, man. So I'm proud of you. Like, so just keep working that list because we're having very good success in our company on that list. And we have to fight. Like I get employees in there. There's like, I can't do it, Rick. I'm like, come on. And sometimes I'll get in the car with them. I'm like, let's go. I got this list. So I started getting these lists back in 2003. And it was a different world back then. And like, listen, society's changed. It's like nobody trusts anybody anymore. It's like, so you just got to like be super nice to people. So awesome job, man. What else you got? Anything else you need help with?
Yes. Someone sent me a JV deal, but it's a vacant land. I don't know
Okay.
how to come the land, so it's a bit hard to find comms.
Okay. So I did a little recording earlier in here, although it was simple, but I have probably 4 videos on how to wholesale vacant land. And then my son did one as well. And we use actual case studies. So just go on the YouTube and check it out and just study it. It's really not, it's just, it is a bit of a pain in the butt to get comps. It really comes down to what you can get a buyer to pay for it. And the beauty of vacant land is you can put it under contract for like 90 days. So you're not under the incredible stress, like selling a house in like 7 or 10 days. People don't live on the land. They just own it. And so it just sits out in a field. So it's like, and honestly, if you get out of the contract, it's not that big of a deal. Who gets hurt? Think about it. No one's like,
the problem is he has 30 left of the contract, but saying he has to renew the seller. So let's see what's gonna happen.
okay, well, check out those videos and see if it'll help you out. Like some land deals work, some don't. So
yeah, definitely. All right, thank you
okay,
so much.
bud, get to work, man. That's awesome. I want to hear your results on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, man. See you. Jolene, you there?
Hello?
Is it Jalen or Jolene?
Jalen.
Jalen. Okay, dude, you can tell I got old man eye syndrome, man. This guy's in the comments like, me next, Rick. Me next, Rick. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take him next. So don't worry, Joel. I didn't forget about you, man. What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
Are you listening? So, alright, so I didn't pray. Alright, you listening to my fault. I'm a little like shook. Hey Rick, so,
Dude, nobody's here to hurt you or judge you. So just if you want help, just speak the truth. I'll help you out.
alright, so listen, I've been like, alright, I've done call, alright, right here on my bench, Skip Trace, I didn't call like over 300 people. Like I got cool violation lists and vacant property lists from the city. And I just been like, what is that? I called like a lot of people. And when you like skip trace somebody, they give you multiple numbers. So I probably didn't call over like 500 numbers. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like stuck. Like, is this something I'm doing wrong?
No. So how long you been doing this for, Jalen?
For 30 days. It's about to be full time 30 days.
Okay.
30 days.
So welcome to the business of wholesaling. So I tell everyone the first 90 days is going to be a true testament
right
for what you made of. Okay. So I know I use like the wrestling analogy a lot. So it doesn't matter wrestling, football, volleyball, cross country. No matter what you start at it, the reality is you're not very good when you start. It's just the truth. Like I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Mhm.
But every day you get a little bit better and you get a little bit confident. The first 30 days, you can get your teeth kicked in. Okay. The question is, you going to come back for more? The guy I spoke to yesterday had no experience, was in a junk business. He got lucky in his first 30 days and pulled down a 40 grand deal.
Oh my God.
Now, but that's the problem, guys. Like I can't tell you when you're going to get it. So Jalen,
Right.
if you ask me a question like, Rick, how many calls do I got to make before I get a deal? The problem is, the truth is there's so many variables in there. I'm lying to you by giving you an answer. Okay. Now I got 20 years into it. Like I know if I every 240 to 250 driving for dollar leads I collect, I'm getting a deal. But I got a lot of data, dude. I got like 20 years plus data in those numbers. Okay. By the way, I used to get 100 and I get 2 or 3 leads when I first started. It's gotten harder. There's more competition, much more advanced tools. I'm going to tell you the truth, Jalen, because you haven't paid me a dime. 500, dude, you haven't even cracked the code yet. Like my son, he's made hundreds of thousands of cold calls. Like he was insane with it. I don't like cold calling. I think it's painful. But honestly, I put in my time to where I don't have to do it. I can pay people to do it. But Zach wanted to do cold calling. I'm like, you're doing it. And when he was 17, dude, he just sat there on the phone like all day. And I was like, how many are you going to make? He goes, I tell you, dude, he made so many cold calls to start. I honestly, I didn't think he was going to make it. I'm just telling you the truth. I love, and he did. He proved me, but he went through. I think he probably went through 5,000 or 6,000 calls before he got his first deal. I know that sounds painful. I'm just telling you the truth, man. But you never know which that one is around the corner.
Right.
And keep going. Like 500 is not a ton, honestly. Like when I do direct mail, I wouldn't even consider 500 is not even like, I get like a 1% response rate. So like, and a response doesn't mean they're going to do anything with you. So I'm just like here to tell you, Dylan, like, welcome to the journey. Like when it hits big. And then once you figure it out and you get it going and you find the right list and you find the right way to connect with them, it'll go. But like you're in that journey doing it. I spoke to Dylan yesterday. We had this exact same conversation with him. He's in the Tampa area and he's just like, oh my God, Rick, this is painful. I don't know what to do. And he was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I just talked to him yesterday. He's working on like 5 or 6 deals. He brought his wife in to help him out. He's hiring other employees. And that was the problem I tried to create him. He didn't have that problem the first 30 days. I didn't have that problem in the first 30 days, and you're not going to have it. The people that really slam down and get a deal, sometimes they're just in the right place at the right time. But they don't get lucky. If you constantly take action and you're consistent with it,
Yes.
you're going to be in the right place. And when it crosses like your zone, it works. Dude, you tell me, the reality is like, like Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff. Everybody sees like everyone's like perfect picture, like everything's great. So I have a boat and I do a lot of fishing. I show fish pictures. I love that stuff, man. I love going out and hunting, and I feel like connected to Mother Earth. But if I told you how many times I went out fishing, I didn't catch a damn thing, like you wouldn't believe me, because I don't post those pictures everywhere because it's embarrassing. Now, listen, I'm a good fisherman. I'm not a pro, but I'm good at what I know what I'm doing just because I keep going back to the same spots and I learn it. And that's the journey you're on right now. So how old are you, Jalen?
I'm 19. And
Come on,
Rick,
man.
and I like it's been like, all right, I'm gonna be honest, like I'll cold call for like 3 days straight, or 3 to 5 days straight, or the 1 week I did 1 week straight. Every day I'll get a lead, but it keep falling through. I'd be like, oh my God.
Dude, I know.
Like every day it'd be like a motivated seller, then it'd be like they'll go ghost on me or
So
something.
listen, your worst case scenario, you get a really good motivated seller and you don't know how to take it down. Your gift when you start out wholesaling is locating them. Okay. If you get a really good deal, send it over to me. I got the money. I know how to take it down, but it's got to be quality, because I don't split crap. Like it's because there's no money in it for like all that. And I'm not charging anything to do it. You understand the value in wholesaling is finding the deal. So a lot of you guys don't know this. When I first started out, I didn't trust wholesaling because I didn't know what I was like this. Yeah, I was this professional corporate geek. I used to bird dog. Very small deals, got 1,000 here, got 2,000 there. I go, well, crap. If he's making 20, 30,000, why am I giving it away? And that was my first initial introduction to real estate. And then I decided to go all in. When I went all in, I kept my corporate job because I had kids. I had a mortgage. Jalen, you got kids?
No, I'm
You
19
got a
now.
mortgage?
No,
You got a lot of debt?
no.
You go out and have fun, man. I'm telling you, dude, you're going to look back on this and go, man, dude, if somebody did this to me when I was 19, I'd be a different man today. And listen, I love my father. He's still alive, but he didn't give me any guidance in this stuff, man. I relied completely on the school system. And I'm okay at math. I'm okay at English. I'm really good at spelling. I don't know why. Do you think that crap makes you any money? It doesn't. They don't teach you anything in school to make you money. And by the way, the new thing is college. If you want to be in business, you're going to college, you need to get a wake-up call. It's not going to help you out.
Seriously,
Honestly,
I tell people that all the time. I tell people that
when
all the
I
time.
get people to come to want to work for me out of college, I just I don't care. Like, show me what you're going to do. And I'll put them on the phones, or I'll send them out door knocking, driving for dollars. And if they can't hack it, I give everybody 3 months. I go, you can't figure out my company in 3 months. We can't work together. Like, we have to survive. We all have to bring in income. You're 19, dude. You're learning this. So even though you're not getting deals right now, I want you to understand, if you keep walking down this path, it'll pay off. It's just awkward. It's strange. I commend you because it takes guts to do cold calling. So you got to have fun with it. And remember,
Yeah,
everybody you talk to is an opportunity.
Yeah, and cold calling fun to me. Like, it's real light. It's easy. Like, a lot of people be scared. Cold calling be fun
Just
to
keep
me.
doing it, dude. You're going to get better. I'm just telling you, 30 days, dude. Like, I told people, if you will take the 2-year journey with wholesaling, I will completely change your life. Now, 2 years sounds like a long time. It's not 2 years to prosperity. It's 2 years to freedom. So imagine this. You never have to go to work again. You can do whatever you want, and you call the shots entire of your life, and then you can take care of your family. Okay?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing that really got me. Like, that's what I'm
But
trying
the
to
reality
do.
is, you guys keep being sold these dreams. You just got to do this and that. And it's like, no, they're selling you the sexy part and they're leaving back the dirty part. So have you ever played sports or anything? If you ever
Yeah,
did
I be
football or
boxing.
wrestling and you had to do 2-a-days and you're like puking through your helmet or like something terrible, like, that's the part they're not going to show you. And that's what you're doing right now. And it's not physical. It's just mental, and it messes with your head. And so confidence is something you have to build within. And a lot of you are like, you cannot tie your confidence on the success of a deal. Otherwise, you are going to be on a confidence roller coaster, which I've been through. Okay.
Okay.
So I have up days and I have down days. I've amassed enough assets to where even my down days is so much better than my up days when I was younger. And dude, I didn't wake up till I was 33. And honestly, I didn't become financially free till like my mid 30s.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
honestly, I lost a lot of it. And I had to go back and regain it. How did here's the one thing. Whenever I did anything else on wholesaling, I got killed. And whenever I had a problem, I went back to wholesaling and I just made it work. So what market are you in? Are you doing it virtual or local?
I'm doing it kind of, I'm local in the market, but I'm doing it virtually. I'm in Philadelphia, but I'm doing it virtually because I don't got no car. I'm looking young. If I walk into somebody like Philadelphia market is different. If I
No, I
walk
know.
into somebody else, I'm young. I got like, they gonna look at me like I'm crazy. I got
I know,
kicked
but
out of a house before. Like,
you got kicked out of what?
I got kicked out of a house before. Like, they kept asking me, how old are you? This, that, this, that.
Okay. But listen, here's how you need to just, you can't control what other people
Right.
decide of you. Zach had the same problem when he was 16, 17, dude. And he was like he's got a baby face. Like, people still make like comments about him. Like, you guys got to understand, your youth is your asset. The reality is, I would do anything to go in a time machine other than my family to trade shoes with you. Okay. I'm a 52-year-old man. Okay. So look at this. You just went back on a time machine. You're 19. Rick's giving you all this knowledge. Either you just got the greatest gift in your life, or you're going to look at it as a burden. It's up to you and do it. Your youth is an asset, and you have to tell everyone, because I'm young, I'm more open to working you and making you happy than some person coming here and just going through it. So I always tell young people, make it up in energy and enthusiasm, which you're doing. But like, if you keep talking about your age, you're going to make your age an issue.
Okay.
I sat down with Zach and I'm telling you exactly what I told him. Your age is your issue. I said, are you a confident young man? Yes. will you get out there and fight any man if he ever challenges you? Like you had to defend your family. Absolutely. You go out and wrestle anybody. You go out and do a football game, whatever. And that's it. So I always be working on your self-confidence. There's tons and tons of training to do that. Just, you got to work on your mind and get it right. Your youth, you're assuming like, dude, you look young. It's a positive. You know what? Like people love to look young, dude. I'm old, man. Like compared to you, like I still go out and work out with my son, man, but it hurts, man. I would do anything to get back in that young mind. So harvest what you got. You're on the right path, dude. I'm just telling you, keep coming back here and I'll keep checking up on you. Like I believe in you. You're going to do it, dude. 19, 30 days.
It's been like 35, 36, like, but 30.
Okay. I'm sorry. 35, 36 for correction here. So keep going, man. Let me talk. We'll talk shortly, man. Okay.
Okay. See you, Rick.
Okay,
Tell Zach I said hey.
I will. What's up, Jason? I'm on the clock, my friend. I got 5 minutes. What's going on, man? You're very patient and I appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you are, man. Sorry about that. Okay. What's going on, man?
Uh-oh.
I hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. What's going on?
I seen you disappeared for a second there. How are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on? What can I help you out with?
Quick question. So I was calling probates and I got a lead. So he said that he had a realtor go and look at the house. The realtor said 275,000 that they could list it for. So my question is, the house it pretty much needs nothing. Do you think that is a house that I can wholesale? Like, can I wholesale that even though it doesn't need any work?
Well, to be honest, there's some of my favorite houses to sell because like you have retail options. Unfortunately, you're in a market that not the greatest thing, but like, so what's the average price points in your area?
It's around 200 to 250.
Okay. So you're slightly above it. So
yeah.
Is she motivated just to sell it for like a cash deal?
It's actually it's a man, but he's actually out of state. He's out of state, so he is motivated. He said, I had realtors come in. I was thinking about listing it, but honestly, if you can take it off my hands, you'd be doing me a favor. And that's what he told me. So
you got to negotiate offer. Absolutely. If the house is clean and ready, it actually gives you more options.
Okay.
The fact that he's out of state and the property's vacant, you're sitting on a gold mine there. You just got to negotiate the right price to leave some room in it. So
gotcha.
Guys, the tools today is don't trust what the realtor told him because you could be getting steered. So you got to go and do your own diligence, look in PropStream, look in Batch, look at Zillow, look at everything and look at all your data and see what they would sell it with a realtor and go in at a discount. Like, so if he thinks it's 275, just walk your math back. So pull up and see what the Zestimate and Zillow value is, because that's where a lot of the
Zillow is 273, and PropStream has it at 293.
Okay, so I'd use 270 as like a safe number because the market's not going up; it's going down. And then you can figure out what number. You would be surprised what number people will take for like a good, quick, clean deal. But remember, for you to move it quickly, it's got to be priced right. The fact that it's going to be vacant, if you can build in like some contingencies for time, you've got a lot of options here, man. Like, what's your worst case?
Okay.
So listen, when people are living in the house and stuff, like I don't mess with them. Like because if you fail in that contract, there are consequences because people make plans to move and it's tough. Right. So these, you can be a little bit more aggressive. You got to get like pictures of the house and everything. Have you looked at the house yet or you just saw pictures?
So this leads into my second question. I only talked to him on the phone one time and he told me all the information that I just told you. So he can actually meet me there next week on Wednesday. My question is, should I call him back and negotiate the price with him over the phone, or should I just wait and meet him in person and do it at that point?
I would just call and get some more information and then just do the whole thing in person and just Listen, this is where you got to go in and kind of hit him a little bit at the knees cap and see what kind of number you can get. Like, remember, you're looking for a counter for him. So if you offer him, like, listen, would you take 220 cash and like a quick close? Just look with a straight face, like you're sober saying it, even though you're shaking inside, and just see what he comes back with. And if he goes, no, he goes, the least I can take is probably like 240, 250. And go, and then just build. So if you come to that number and you can't negotiate it more, just build in a big contingency. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to inspect it, look at everything, and make sure it's okay. Can you give me a couple weeks to look at it? Something like that. When they're not living there, they'll give you all the time in the world. I don't think they have a problem with that. I love deals like this because you can play like, I don't want you to play realtor, but like that's when I start like calling every realtor I know and go, listen, I got a good deal here. Look at everything on the market that you're going to compete with and come in lower, and then you'll get all the traffic in the world. So offer low and just like see where you wind up. Remember, when you go for the no, your job is to get a counter to try to find that bottom line number, not get a yes. So you're going to do much better in person. If you do on the phone, you're going to reveal your cards. But take 273, and I promise you, I'm going to do quick numbers, and then I got to get off the phone here. Not the phone, the live. Let's just call it 270. And if he got a realtor, all negotiations and everything.
Yeah, he acknowledged he needs to take 7% off for a realtor right off the bat. He acknowledged that.
Dude, 220 takes off. At 229, it's a 15% discount, which would compensate for the closing costs, the realtor fees, and a little bit of negotiations. So I'm telling you, 220 is not a far off number. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but you can give it a shot. Now, if he goes, listen, my bottom line is 250, or I have to walk and I can't do it, that's fine. Build a 30-day contingency for inspection in there and go find someone that will pay more. That's it.
Gotcha.
Like, don't sweat it. And then just go find another deal. And then, honestly, this is a guy you can probably renegotiate like a little bit, but you got to go out and find out. You got to lock him up, and then you got to find out what the market's going to pay for it. In the old days, this would be a home run beyond imagination. Now we're all trying to work in this navigate this new field. But you have the perfect conditions for it. A vacant property, out-of-state owner with motivation. Find out what his bottom line number is. Harvest it. If he gives you a smoking deal, don't beat the crap out of him. But if he gives you a higher number, build in like a 30-day inspection period and go find out what your best offer you can get on it.
Gotcha. Okay. That's perfect. It's exactly what I needed, Rick. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. Let me know how it works out. And by the way, guys, Jason takes advantage of all these one-on-ones, and he's just learning every time he does it. And I do appreciate him coming on here. So
I'm going to get my first one very soon.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Guys, Zach will be on live Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Check us out on YouTube. Go over to my YouTube channel. I got some special videos I'm releasing here shortly. Rick Ginn, and check out Zach Ginn, his YouTube channel. And guys, I appreciate. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, share the video. You guys go out and get deals. Guys, take my information, take the action. We're in an incredible market. You guys are in the right opportunity with wholesaling. Go out and get a deal, and I'm going to help you guide